The Democrats have been running the weird narrative because that's their line of attack, but oh boy, did they step in it this time. Nevada Democrats quoted Sam Brown, a veteran who was injured and has suffered burns to his face. And he had posted with J.D. Vance on X, "It's time hardworking Nevadans have champions for them in the White House and U.S. Senate. President Trump, J.D. Vance, and I are ready to lead and help make life better for every Nevadan and American. We got you." And Nevada Democrats said, "You can't make this up. Sam Brown and J.D. Vance are claiming to be champions for hardworking Nevadans from a private jet. They're not only hypocrites, they're just plain weird." And the reason why they step in is because we all know what happened with Donald Trump. When Donald Trump liked to do that thing where he would mock people by bouncing his arm on his chest, and then all of a sudden a journalist popped up who had a disability with his arm, and the media ran the narrative that Donald Trump was intentionally mocking a disabled journalist. Sam Brown has responded, saying, "Yes, you can call my face weird. It won't be the first or last time I've heard it, but my message is not to you. My message is to anyone else who has been put down or called weird because of their experiences or who they are. I say to you, do not allow others to define you. I'm proud of my scars. They might look a little different, but it gives me an opportunity to encourage others. I encourage every one of you to lean into the things that make you unique and that others may call weird, and realize that your experience, whether it's suffering or something else, gives you an opportunity to connect with others and give them hope. You are loved. You are appreciated. The things that make you unique can also be your greatest strength." In response to them calling him weird. And it's just like, guys, we try to be a little sensitive. You know what I mean?
They're supposed to be the sensitive ones, right?
They're claiming to be. But this is the problem with a open hatch and randomly fire out the insult of weird to any and everyone, and then not thinking about you insulting a guy. And I say this with all due respect to Captain Sam Brown, who's pointing out he has been called weird before. It's one thing to call J.D. Vance or Trump weird because in their minds, they're like, it's punching up, right? Trump's a billionaire. J.D. Vance, senator. He's got a successful book and a movie. Sam Brown is an injured veteran who has been called weird because of the injuries he suffered, and they are not paying attention to what they're doing when they just blanket everybody as weird, and now they've stepped in it. So this only gets pushed if Republicans decide this is an attack vector.
Make it an issue, yeah.
And I think they should. Mm-hmm. They should say, guys, chill out on the weird stuff because you're not paying attention to who you're insulting. Sam Brown has said he's been called weird before because of his face, because of the injuries he suffered serving this country, and now Democrats are not even thinking about what they're calling this guy.
I think if the Trump campaign isn't already churning out a ton of merchandise with weird and some reference to that, they're crazy. I think this is probably one of the bigger political mistakes that the left could make. I mean, I'm weird. You're weird. I mean, I think everybody in this room is to a certain extent.
They want to be the status quo. Maybe let them be the status quo.
Yeah, the left. I mean, look at the left. If you're going to call people on the right weird. People on the right were always the ones accused of being, starched collars, boring, sticks in the mud.
Bow tie.
Bow tie, exactly. That's what they would say that about Tucker Carlson, bunch of uptight nerds. And now we're the weird ones? Good. I hope we are. I hope we embrace it and make it, turn it right back.
Let's get all the weirdest
people and
it
put
is
them
the
all in the
stodgy
same room.
conservatives who have never liked being called weird. They want to be normal.
Yeah.
And it is only, I think, because of this coalition between more moderates, post-liberals, disaffected liberals, and independents, all of those people are fine with being called weird.
Sure.
But these suit-wearing conservative types, you go to any one of these conservative events, you go to these youth conservative college events, and it's just like, dude, it is like a bunch of 18-year-olds wearing suits.
Khaki pants.
Yeah, come on, guys. You got to be a little weird.
A lot of high heels, too.
A lot of high heels, red dresses.
Red dresses.
Everybody is very much in line.
Very makeup-y.
Yeah.
But I think that's changed. I mean, maybe not at those kinds of events, sort of the core Republicans, the ones that are unfortunately still in charge of the party and the way things go. But I think that's changing. I mean, I think that's why, we've had some success as a company on X is just we are weird and we're happy to embrace it. And I think people enjoy the fact that
Plus, that was
Democrats need to apologize to Sam Brown.
Getting out of their shell, right?
Democrats need to apologize to Sam Brown. Every single Republican should be like, fine, call me weird, but apologize to Sam Brown.
Yeah.
Force Democrat leadership to go on TV and say, we did not mean it, we're sorry.
Yeah.
Make them do it.
What's weird, if I may, is that you have a lot of leftist cities that pride themselves on their weirdness. Keep Portland weird.
Right.
They like
Austin
weird.
Exactly.
Yeah, keep Austin weird.
Yep.
and suddenly weird is bad. I thought weird was your whole thing. I thought, furry drag queens reading to children.
They're abandoning it.
Was like the great thing. They're abandoning it because Kamala's a mean girl sorority sister now.
Democrats have become the party of the wealthy. In 2016, Vox.com wrote that. They have continually become the party of the status quo. Look at the Lincoln Project. Look at the neocons who dumped the Republicans and joined the Democrats. The Democrats are trying to not be the weird party, and it actually is an issue for them. The far left does the things they do. Joe Biden doesn't want that stuff. He tries to push it away, but he can't because he needs their votes. So they are trying to label. This is what they do with defund the police. The far left calls for defund the police, and then establishment Democrats try getting on board with it. The New York Times tries getting on board with it. They realize it's unpopular, and then they say the right wants to defund the police.
Right.
When the right said stuff like de-weaponize the FBI, they try to push it off onto the right. I say be weird, fine, but the main play right now is that what every Republican should be saying is apologize to Sam Brown. Call Trump weird, call J.D. Vance weird, call me weird, all you like. Me, I like being called weird. I don't want to be stodgy status quo, but that's just me. I'll tell you this. You and I together, Democrats, we will call Trump weird, but you got to apologize to Sam Brown.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that.
No.
They're never.
And that's the only thing. All that matters is that when there is a rally at a small suburban town and there's a bunch of undecideds, they can say, look, call me weird, that's fine, but please apologize to Sam Brown. That's not cool. That's not okay, man. This guy, he made a sacrifice for his nation. So say you're sorry, and then we can move on, and you can insult me all you want. And they're not going to do it. And then let the American people see what they're willing to do for their politics. Republicans they always they get demure. Well, look at George Floyd. The George Floyd incident happens. Every single conservative comes out saying, whoa, geez, look at the Covington kids.
Right.
When the Covington kid thing happens with the Native American, all of a sudden every conservative is like, oh, well, geez, like that was really bad what the kid did. Very few people said, no, I'm going to challenge and question this narrative. So now we have the situation where the Democrats want to play this weird angle and insult all the conservatives as weird. And then they call an injured veteran weird. And he happens to get called weird because of his face. Make him apologize. Make him apologize.
Part of the thing, though, where Republicans will, say, oh, the Covington kid, that was a problem or whatever, and they'll come out and do that, is because it's only in those moments that Republicans get accepted by the left and get airtime on these legacy networks. And they want to be liked. They want to be included in that whole thing. So they say, oh, sure, I'm never Trump, or the kid shouldn't have smiled, or, the abortion rules go too far, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They'll come out and say that so that they can have access to that platform.
Republicans always begin with an apology.
Always.
And they have to get over that or they're going to keep losing.
Well, and that's sort of what's interesting, too. If I can, like this Pete Buttigieg interview, another thing that he was saying was that if Kamala wins the presidency, then you eliminate MAGA and that you're back to a, more normal Republican Party. Because what the Democrats really fear is the MAGA movement. They're worried, and that's why they're going so hard against J.D. Vance, because J.D. Vance is the future of that movement. He's young. He's got a lot of political career ahead of him. He can gather a lot of people around and rally that. And that's what the Democrats really fear. They would love to go back to the era of fiscal conservative, bow-tied Republicans who just want to apologize and be included. And what they're not seeing a way to really defeat a populist movement where people are proud of who they are and where they come from, where they don't want to apologize for their guns or their religion or their free speech, or owning their land or whatever else it is that people just want to do and be left alone. And the Democrats don't see a way to beat that. And that's why they're doing this whole Mean Girls thing.
And they're throwing a lot of stuff at the wall right now. I mean,
right. They're just because they have nothing.
We try to get Kamala to be, Kamala is brat. Like they're going to churn out a lot of stuff to see what
She's
sticks.
talking to another sorority tonight.
Yeah, they're going to throw.
This is what, like the third sorority in a week and a half?
Look, sorority girls are extremely powerful in America. The lobby has been underrepresented. No, I'm just kidding. No, but they're going to throw a lot of stuff at the wall because Democrats have typically always controlled messaging and language, and they believe that that's their ticket back to the White House, because I think, to your point, they are afraid of the MAGA movement, and a lot of the MAGA movement introduced a new narrative that they couldn't combat. And so they have to make all of these very personal attacks. He's weird, like, whatever it is, they're just trying to make it these sort of ick factor. Like for some reason you just don't like them because they're having a hard time challenging
You
the
had
policies
AOC
underneath.
basically saying, she was saying that MAGA and JD Vance are incels. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
Yeah.
JD Vance, the father of three.
Father of three,
From
yeah.
Ohio who's
Yeah.
married.
Right.
But, no, it's buzzwords, right? Like if they can just hit like things that make people say, oh, I don't like that person. That I know that term is bad. I know I'm going to distance myself from it. I mean,
Well,
similar to the reaction to the DEI hire aspect. They
I agree
they don't
with,
want it to be something that they're tagged with.
Yeah, I agree with Scott Adams' assessment of this, and he's pretty convinced that whoever came up with the weird tagline is female, and
Me too.
and he's always been of the opinion that the Democrat Party is now the party of women, and I don't disagree with that. I think they're really trying
childish
to
cat ladies, too.
yeah, I think they're really trying to tie into that, and weird is sort of a female insult, like they give, he gives me the ick, he's a weird guy, all these kinds of things. Guys don't generally insult each other that way. And so I think
Kamala Harris's campaign
they've got the candidate that they want. They're going to try. I think that they see a lot more potential in her than they do in Hillary. They would never be able to do this kind of stuff with her because she's a stodgy stick in the mud woman. And Kamala, she's got these rappers coming out. They're acting like it's a party.
Right. And I feel like conservatives will fail if they give too much into participating in whatever rhetoric development is happening right now with the media, right?
Yeah.
Like trying to talk to them about their buzzwords or whatever weird insult they've come up with during this time, it's sort of irrelevant. Like stay the course, attack Kamala Harris on things that are relevant, like her time as a prosecutor, her failure to secure national security, her lack of international diplomacy experience. Like you could have a substantive conversation that they will not be able to combat with. All they have is weird and brat.
He should say, listen, Kamala, let's sit down and have a 30-minute discussion about the war in Ukraine. And
tell me about a business you've built, Kamala.
Yeah.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.